This is how the universe works. The universe wants you to elevate and rise up into your reverent, sovereign, and self-responsible self-esteem. Self-esteem, I like to call it the testosterone. Testosterone is very much about needing energy to assert myself out there, to apply myself, to make things happen. It's a creating force. I have to create myself. I have to go out there. I have to have experience, and I need the energy to keep up with the vast experiences that are going to challenge me, going to break me down so that I can have monumental breakthroughs in my life. That's testosterone. I want to get the marathon at this amount of minutes. So I'm using my application skill, my assertion skill to challenge myself, to go through the experience of what it means to run a marathon and to have a breakthrough. So whenever I say breakthrough, there's always a breakdown. And we'll talk about this. There's always a breakdown before a breakthrough can happen. It's like that moment when I was a cheerleader and I was running laps, and I could only do 3 laps. And right when I started to get into 5, so I pushed through the 4th lap, and right when I started to get in the 5th lap, I started to break down. I started to shake, my legs started to get numb, I started to sort of panic, I started to just basically freak out. And usually in that breakdown moment, that is what we call the pivotal, I'm not saying it right, that pivotal moment where everything begins to reorganize itself. Everything begins to repattern itself so that we can break through. So again, there's a risk to keep going when you're feeling like, oh, I'm about to break down, I can't do this anymore, but you keep going. That is usually the moment when that breakthrough occurs and you enter into a new caliber. So the old caliber was, I can only do 3.5 laps. And the new caliber is, now I can do 5. And then as you continue to get into that mindset of liberation, you start to, that crosses into all of your experiences. So people who tend to have that mindset of liberation, okay, during the breakdown, because liberation is one of the key words that we have used time and time again since the Egyptian times, okay, the long time ago. That word liberation has probably been a key word in every single era and age that has been going on this planet when it comes to our human evolution. Because always there's a breakdown. There's a breakdown in a civilization. There's a breakdown of an economy. There's a breakdown of ideology, sociology. There's always a breakdown. But what keeps humanity going instead of humanity, you could say, just giving up and dying and just surrendering to widespread pessimism that leads to just the total downfall, okay, is breakthrough. That is what pushes an error is breaking down, okay, an ideology that's breaking down into a new pattern, into a reorganized alignment. And that's what we want. That's what we're hungry for. And that's why we take risks. And the people who don't take risks in life is they're holding a lot of doubt, okay, doubt. Doubt. Whenever you have a pivotal moment, either in sociology, economics, whatever it is, a whole civilization, there's always doubt that comes up. And that is the greatest, we can say, triumph for us to overcome that and to reach the other side. And that's what keeps us going. all the time. Right now, this isn't the only doubt we've had in when it comes to our civilization, making it successfully into the technology age. This isn't the only time where we felt crises when it comes to the all these computers and all. There's a lot going on. We've faced this many times, and we will many times more. And the reason that we, you could say, made it, not everybody makes it, but you could say at least 10%, 20% need to make it in order for the whole shift to happen on this planet. Okay, so a lot of people don't make it, but there are people who made it. And it's usually overcoming doubt and having that breakthrough, getting to the next level. So that's testosterone. Okay, testosterone is the grit, the charisma that the character development that we require in order to have the experiences, to go through the challenges, to be broken down as anything that is next level. Okay, either you're getting your PhD, okay, it's going to break you down. It's going to challenge your mental strength. It's going to challenge your emotional strength, everything. But the reason we go into that is because we are hungry. A lot of people are hungry to get to the next level. Because we as human are very much similar to the trees. Okay, the trees are the mother. They're Gaia. They're the subtle body of all things. The bees, to the deer, to the humans, the orcas, the squids. The trees are the subtle body, the mother. Okay, they're the subtle body to every living thing on this planet. So in following the tree system, we were meant to grow towards the light. We're meant to be very tall, very wide, and very deep. Okay, that's just what we are. We're not meant to be kind of just sort of not growing, and we are diseased, infested. Our roots are not very deep. With a storm comes, we sort of plop over because we're not strong enough, or we're disconnected from the other trees, where we can't get nutrients or contact from the other trees to create a more helpful ecosystem that can provide nutrients to those who are ill, and so on. Okay, our subtle body comes from the tree system, and such as our dogs and our cats and our horses and our donkeys and our little rabbits. Okay, so what that means is that we are meant to grow towards the light. We're not meant to just live in the dirt. We're not meant to be just this coiled up, shriveled up, wilted thing in the dirt. We're meant to elongate our presence. Talk about like a ballerina teacher. As you from 3 years old to let's say 17, time and time again, all you learn is keep your spine tall, roll your shoulders back, keep your chest open. You hear that so many times. Every class from age 3 to 17 years old, the teacher says the same thing. Keep your shoulders rolled back, keep your spine tall, keep your chest wide, and shine. You'll hear that so many times, because I feel that is how we are to be as human species. We're not supposed to be frumpty dumpty, shoulders slumped over, creating we have a turtle shell on our back, creating all these memories. No, like the ballerina, we tell our story and then we keep moving, we keep revolving. From age 3 to 17, we keep revolving, we keep growing, ascending to new heights and what we're capable of. So, you're only capable of doing 2 turns. Now you can do 6 turns. Now you can do all these sort of elaborate positions and elaborate movements. That's kind of how we as humans are. Okay, we're not all going to be ballerinas, but that ballerina's foundation is in everything. Okay. We want to be refined. We don't want to be a blob. We want to be refined, and that's the one thing about ballet, why it is so majestic and captivating to everybody. Everybody can agree. I don't think one person would say ballet is not very captivating or majestic. That is the example of refined energy, really refined energy. And a part of getting into that caliber, which is what we call your very deep tree, you're very tall, you have very wide branches. That's kind of when I think of a ballerina. They're very deep, have deep rooted, they're tall, and they have this wide branches towards the sunlight, and they're very balanced, and they're very strong and very agile. Okay, that's kind of when I think of the ballerina. And a part of getting to that place is you got to go through experience, and experience can be tough. When your teacher says you gotta do, let's say you gotta do a back bend for 5 minutes, do a back bend for 5 minutes, you gotta have some pretty flexible back, and you gotta have some pretty flexible wrists, and overall you have to have the breath capacity to really keep yourself together. Okay, but the very fact that we keep ourselves together and we don't break down, and so many motivating practices, motivators everywhere saying that, don't break down, just break through, find a way. Your nervous system will shake, your nervous system will say no, but your soul can say yes. Okay, and that's kind of the realm of estrogen. When it comes to putting ourselves out there, having the experience of doing a back bend for 5 minutes and about to break down and I'm about to collapse and I'm like, I don't like this whatsoever. But when you hold your ground, when you hold your position is, I want to grow. I want to refine my energy. I want to get better at this skill, or I want to at least attempt this skill and see how well I can do. It's a mental thing. Even if you can't do it for 5 minutes, just the intention of having, I'm going to do it as much as I can until my body says that, okay, that's enough. Because everybody has a different strength of body. If you've never done a back stretch before, a back bend is most likely your body is not going to do that. So you're going to have to ease it 30 seconds here and there, probably for months or maybe years, until your body is able to take it in. And that's the one thing about the body. It's a vessel, meaning it's there to take in and put out. So your body can take in many things, and your body can put out many things. Okay, it's possible. Vessels, it's possible. It's a realm of possibility of what you can do. It just depends on what do you want to do with your vessel. You could totally be that acrobatic person with all those weird sort of backbend stuff. Or you could totally be a basketball player. You could totally horseback ride. Your body is this wonderful, infinite possibility. It can fold like origami in so many ways. You just need to have the intention of, what do I want to do with it? And that's the one thing with people, is they don't have the intention. They don't have the intention. Meaning, the body's a vessel. It's like origami, and the soul, the heart, is basically the person who does the origami, makes the patterns, the shapes, and changes them, folds and unfolds. It's very master. It's a masterful origami person, okay? That's kind of what our soul and our heart is. It's just a very fact, what is your intention? Stick to your intention. And that's usually the people who have the most focused and concentrated intention of what they want to experience, usually are the ones who go through the experiences, all the tests, the challenges, the assignments given to them by creation to excel. They usually take them with a grain of salt, okay, meaning they're not like moping, they usually take them with a grain of salt, and they're very nonchalant about it, and they usually tend to be non-attached to the emotions that come up, such as frustration and anger and disappointment and sabotage. They usually are non-attached, meaning they allow the emotions to come up because that's what it is to be human, but they're not interlocking with it to the point where they start to miss out on what the experience is offering them, which is a moment of breakdown for a breakthrough to happen. Some people they hang in disappointment emotion for years, and they don't really understand that the intention they have on a soul level, either they're aware or confused about it, wants a certain level of experience in this life. And whatever we've been doing or been taking in, either from friends, social group, society, family, is blocking that. So the universe is going to move and shake. It's going to move and shake us. It's going to put us in experiences that are really going to help us to get on course with our intention. Okay, our intention. So our intention is like our mission. To cultivate that, to develop it you could say, in our mental space, and then project it out there. That is our, you can say, our mission. So a lot of us, we don't really know what our intention is. We don't really, because part of why we all know like the intentions we have, okay? It's just we don't have the self-worth to back it up. Our self-worth is so low that we don't even try to even develop the intention, try to visualize it, try to imagine it, try to manifest it, try to assert it, try to project it out, and try to see what comes back like a boomerang. We don't even try to do that because our self-worth is so low that we don't think we're capable of actually maintaining and sustaining that, because our self-worth is low. So the universe knows this, the universe knows humanity very well. And the universe knows that a part of humanity getting on the course of, let's say, their soul's mission in this lifetime is they have to elevate their self-worth. And the only way is that we have to go through the experiences that are going to break us down so that we can break through into a new level. And it's scary. It's very uncomfortable to run 3.5 laps and then all of a sudden push myself. I always stop. But then I don't stop this time, and I just say, you know what, I'm just going to go through it. Even if my legs are shaking, even if I'm just like crawling to the finish line, I'm going to do that. And there's a level of commitment you make to yourself when you have that sort of, grain of salt, with yourself. Like, you're just going to go through it nonchalant, I'm just going to be non-attached to kind of my expectation of what's going to go down by me trying to, go through this. And it becomes really playful, and it becomes really exciting, like joyous. To be a ballerina is really tough. I see those women and men, and I'm like, why do you keep doing it? It's because the beauty, through all of that, torture you do on your body, to, all of the torture I've seen, there's this beauty that comes from having tremendous growth in your life. There's this beauty, and I think that's why a lot of people continue that practice of being a, ballerina. And some people, they decide, I want to have different experiences. My body is calling for me to do something else. And that's perfectly fine. My body is calling for me to be in Broadway and to open my throat and to sing, So I see our body, we came in this body because we want to experience the possibility of the body. And that estrogen that we all have is that, we can say, that desire to keep going and to trust ourselves and to make those intentions to really stick with them. Because people who don't really have, sense of concentration or focus or intention usually are all over the place. They can't really complete anything. They're procrastinating. They're kind of all over the place. And that's no way to grow. Trees are not like that. They're very like concentrated. But it's very nonchalant. It's very non-attached. It's not, kind of hardcore, gotta get this, that kind of, because a tree wouldn't want to live. Why would a tree want to live? If the whole existence of the tree is just, gotta go get this, gotta go get that. A tree would get so exhausted that it'd be like 1,000 years and the tree would die. But there are trees that are like 12,000 years on this planet because it's like a ballerina going on with the trees. But they're not, But we have that as an adult. We think we have to get what we want, and then we do that, and what happens? We're like the tree. We get so exhausted that nothing can flow through us because we get too tight. And that's the one thing about when it comes to asserting ourselves. We get too uptight when we keep doing it like hard, and it's this attachment to the outcome and attachment to how much income and what's going to happen, and to my attachment ego and whatever thing that I'm attached to, it's for me, that kind of, that look of, like, it's mine, I have to, that kind of restlessness that people have. Playfulness is the way through, because it opens your mind. Playfulness gives us a chance to see our experiences as an opportunity to become more beautiful. And when we look at it as that, like, to become more beautiful, no matter how, rough and tumbling, whatever's going on, I feel like that gives us an outcome regardless of what that is. Either, you're in a relationship, it doesn't work out, or whatever, the job doesn't work out. It gives you a sense of a deeper trust in yourself. I think that's what real beauty is, to have a deeper trust in yourself. That you have your back, you take care of yourself, you trust that the universe, which is yourself, is going to bring you exactly the intention that you have been projecting out there. And the goal ultimately is just to get very refined in your intention, your vision for yourself, and overcome the doubt that has us second guessing, and then blocking, and then sabotaging, and then I'm not good enough, and I'm not worthy, and then really cutting our foot off, kind of thing. So we talked about testosterone, we're talking about estrogen. Okay, estrogen is so we talk about self-esteem, which is testosterone. Now we're going to talk about self-worth, which is estrogen. So just testosterone is known as, you could say, macho man. I want to be a macho man. Okay, that's kind of testosterone, right? Estrogen is more of the woman. Okay, estrogen is the woman, which is my self-worth. I'm just sitting here, in my beauty, and I'm allowing the universe to give to me. It's kind of like, it's receptivity. There's a point where you gotta do the work, the macho man, and then there's also a point where you literally have to just chillax, relax, and allow the ideas to come to you. So estrogen is more about, you can say, just, I call it meditation with yourself. I call it connecting with your creativity, connecting with your authenticity. It's basically you're developing your magnetism. Okay, and that, again, it's like we go through both of these phases of ourselves, because we can't just be hot macho all the time, all that estrogen, because it burns us out. Our adrenals burn out from all of that testosterone just raging everywhere. It's exhausting us. It exhausts us if that's our life. So we cool it down. We could say with estrogen, we cool it down. And that's more about being introspective, reflective. It's about contemplation. It's about really, you've had the experiences, you put yourself out there. Now let's really reflect upon, what did you learn? What did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about others? What did you learn about the way you express yourself? What did you learn about the way you communicate? What did you learn about how you sabotage yourself, or how you care for yourself? What did you learn? That's, I call it the feminine principle, is what did you learn? So that's like a philosophical sort of quest that each and every one of us will have. But unfortunately, most of us have that when we're about to die. We're macho for our whole life, and then we get exhausted by 35, and then we lose all sense of creativity, but then we can't really connect with the feminine part of ourselves. You could say the moon cycles of our life, because we're so heated and so much heat, and we don't know how to cool down. Okay, we don't know how to cool, and a lot of people, they don't know how to concentrate or focus because they don't know how to cool down. They don't know how to really just drop in to their body because they're so used to being externalized, on the chase for something. But the wonderful principle of the woman, which has the same sort of tact, her goal, you could say, is receiving the wealth of the universe. But her form of wealth of the universe is she becomes so magnetic, so refined in her meditative mind, that the wealth just comes to her. The macho is about, I gotta go, take the wealth, find any means I can to get it for me, okay? When it comes to experience, it's like, can be hardcore for a lot of people, or playful, depends. But for the woman, it's like, I'm just going to work on my meditative mind, and I'm going to become so captivating in my mind, so beautiful in my mind and my spirit, that the universe cannot deny me wealth, because the universe is what we are inside. So if you have a wealthy mind, a wealthy spirit, the universe is just going to boomerang that back to you. And that's kind of the mystery, and you could say the secret society of the women in receiving wealth, because it comes to them naturally, because their mind and their spirit is elevated, able to take in. So the universe is available, but you can't take in what you can't hold. So it's like a relationship. Okay, we block it, sabotage, and we just can't take it. Our body can't take it because we haven't prepared ourselves for that. We haven't prepared ourselves for what it means to be in a relationship. We haven't really gone through the meditative practice with ourselves on what it means to relate to yourself and to another, to take care of yourself, to take care of another, to have balance, to express, to articulate, to be open, to be sensitive, to be compassionate, to be non-judgmental. So part of that estrogen is we have the intention, okay, we project it out, that's estrogen. We project the intention out, okay, through experiences of going to college, or, getting a job, or taking a class online, going to the yoga studio, learning an instrument, whatever it is. We project that intention out there. And the experience comes. That's what happened. You project it out there, experience comes, and it will, you need a little macho, because it might be a little rough at times, and that's fine. Okay, it'll be a little rough to do the marathon. You're like, I don't want to do this, kind of thing. You might get some bruises. Okay, that's experience. You might get some wounds, some scars. Okay. But when you play with it, you don't look at it as, oh my gosh, all these wounds and scars, like, oh my God, my body up and down my legs, what is going on? It's more of, this is the beauty of me out there in the world, growing and learning. Just like trees. All trees have wounds and scars and bruises and broken limbs and bows and all that kind of stuff. They've gone through diseases and all kinds of stuff. Okay, but they don't carry this stuff with them. They just allow it to mend and allow the scarring to just be a beautiful reminder of their journey, and their growth, and what they're learning. Okay, what they're learning on their way to really getting in touch with what they want, from themselves and in their life. So when we're in that woman energy, that's when the universe really speaks. Okay, a lot of people, they're out there like, I want the universe to speak to me. But this is usually when the universe does speak, really loud and clear, because we're quiet. We're quiet. We want to listen. We want to share We want to talk to ourselves. We want to get to know ourselves. Because you can't really project an intention out into the world if you don't really know yourself. It's not going to really make sense to you and to other people, because you don't really have a sense of vision behind it. So intention is only glorious because there's a vision behind it. And that's where we work on the feminine energy. The feminine represents the moon, the moon cycle phases. Okay, and that's all mysterious. It's like a, secret society. Okay, what's behind the moon? What is the moon? I don't know. Who knows? It's for you to go. It's for you to know. It's for you to discover. It's for you to ask the questions to yourself to see what comes through. It's for you to develop a way of being receptive and available to yourself. In our culture, vast majority are not very receptive or available to themselves. Okay, the macho world that we live in, has us all going and doing, but we don't, our intentions are, money, business, relationship, but we don't really have a vision. And a vision implies you're wanting to elevate yourself to a certain level of harmony. Usually that's like when we talk about a vision. Usually that's balancing a relationship, or balancing your mind or your body, or balancing whatever sort of desire career-wise. And in that moment when we're really just quiet with ourselves, and sometimes that means, being by ourselves, that's when we really become the wholeness of ourselves. And right now the planet is starving for, this, they say, the woman practice. Because a part of what heals and mends and repairs our woundings from all these experiences that we've had, and some of them have been gruesome for a lot of the family lines. Experiences have been very tough, very intrusive and bombarding. And a part of what it is, the healing that takes place is more about quiet. It's more about being with yourself, taking care of yourself, learning what it means to be whole. What does it mean to be philosophical? What does it mean to be mature? What does it mean to be wise? What does it mean to be forgiving and accepting? Everything, when we think about all our ethics and moral reasoning and even our justice system of right and wrong, is based on the philosophy. It's not based on macho. It's based on philosophy. And philosophy, especially during, we say, these Greek times, that a lot of our, even before that, again, there's been sort of ethnic codes and moral reasoning and sort of ideology when it comes to right and wrong, okay, as we know from like Mesopotamia. But the philosophy was more closely what we associate as the wisdom that keeps harmony together. It's more of the philosophy behind the justice and the moral and the ethics and all of that. Because that feminine energy, which is contemplation, meditation, introspection, learning the wealth of the universe within yourself, that is the closest thing we as humans have found to a teaching on harmony. How can I bring more harmony into my life? How can I balance out the scales? And we connect with that energy when we need to bring some balance into our life. We need to bring some harmony into our life. Because as humans, we know time and time we can't keep going in a disharmonious way. Such as we look at our environment. We've been in such disharmony with our environment. Now our environment is responding, giving us what we put out, which is, climate change and all these kinds of things that are going on. because it's basically giving back what we put out. Okay? So what that simply is meaning that we just need to be more constructive and introspective and to find ways in which we can create more harmony with the environment. Same thing with a relationship. It gets very heated and you get introspective, you get quiet, you get compassionate, you get still, because usually those are the moments when harmony can appear, when people can really have a vulnerable discussion and really get real with each other and see, okay, how can we better be constructive and adjust ourselves so that we can have more rhythmic experiences. And I think overall, that's what we want. We want rhythmic experiences, not, I don't know, whatever it is. I'm going to take, and give none, and then feel imbalanced in that way. Or we want to feel rhythmic, because rhythmic is how we are able to survive again and again and again on planet Earth. We've been extinct. Humankind has extinct itself multiple times, and we're doing this again, okay, for the 5th time. And a part of breaking through is rhythmic. How rhythmic can we be? And that a part of being rhythmic, even as the macho, when it comes to the balancing between vision and, going and getting it kind of thing, is being rhythmic. It's just like the blues. These I always say the blues are jazz, because these cultures will withstand time and space, because they speak of time and space and the beauty and the mastery and the breakthrough of time and space. So regardless of if blues and jazz, fades, let's say, 10,000 years from now, there's always that vibration is always it's just going to transform into something else. But anything that is arrhythmic usually dies out because it doesn't speak of anything that really has depth. It doesn't. So it will probably quickly fade out, and it will be a vibration that kind of just dissolves. Because again, like Mother Nature, whatever is not natural, Mother Nature tends to decompose and tends to break apart. Because Mother Gaia wants us to be natural. And when I say the blues and jazz is natural, is because, again, it's speaking of time and space. It's speaking of rhythm. It's pure rhythm. It's speaking of what it means to be natural, what it means to have harmony with yourself and with people around you. What does it mean to be one with yourself and with the others, with the music, with the universe? And that is what we call the purest refined energy of ourselves. And the universe will always break us down and break all of our fakeness or weird stuff to get us where it wants us to be. And it's kind of one person at a time, or one group of people at a time. And some people won't make it in this life, but we all get to that point where we really feel like, when you're listening to blues, or even just a saxophone player, who really has that blues influence, you just feel it. You're like, yes, I feel one. Like, oh my gosh, I feel one with myself. I feel one with my childhood. I feel one with my whole family. I feel one with the universe. I just feel one with everything, and I'm just in awe, of everything. And that is usually when you're most forgiving, most accepting, and free. When you feel that oneness, you're no longer separating, judging, dividing, play all of that. You're one. You're most forgiving and most accepting, and you're free. You're free because you don't carry the load anymore of your ancestors or your karma or your mistakes or whatever it is. You become free. And any rhythm that brings that free is something that will always withstand time and space. It will always be here, regardless if the blues people, I could say, people like I like to say Ray Charles are remembered or not. doesn't matter if they're remembered. It matters, did they bring harmony and rhythm? Did they help the people to be more constructive? Or did they scramble the people? Music, I use blues because rhythm, we're talking about rhythm. Rhythm is the best way, either, music, even in film. Music is the best way, the best support system to humanity. It's the best support system, has been since time and time again, even music in the ballet. It conducts the ballet. It conducts the film. Without the music, film, it doesn't have it doesn't move. The pictures move, the conversations move, the story moves, but the music, the singing, whatever is going on is how we're moved. Music moves us, and it moves our energy to be either more refined or confused. You're one or the other. You cannot be both. You cannot be music that refines and confuses energy at the same time. So I feel when the blues was very much about refining energy. It was about looking at your energy, looking at what you're putting out in the world, looking at what you're putting into your mind and your body, and really getting real with how you can have more harmony. And what do you need to do to have more harmony? What do you need to let go to have more harmony? How can you be liberated? How can you be free? That's what the blues was about. How can we be free amongst all the burdens and the ancestral brutality? And how can we be one with ourselves and others in the universe, and be all forgiving and accepting? That's rhythm. That's rhythm. And I think with estrogen and testosterone, it's there for us because it works with our energy system, about heating and cooling, getting it moving and getting it kind of, still so things can heal and repair. We have that because that's our own internal song, our own internal mantra. It's a biological mantra that's always going and going and going. And it's there to help us be constructive. Help us to stay the course of why we came to Earth. We want to align ourselves with a vision we all have deep in our heart. And that vision is a form of balance. It's a form of harmony. It's a form of mastery. And that's going to be different for every single person on this planet. But regardless, we want to get to a level of balance, a level of harmony, a level of mastery in some way or some fashion. And the universe will always push us. Even it's like a rude awakening, or the rug ripped underneath of us, so that we can get to that. Because when we really feel that, we also are really getting in touch with our high self-worth. We're not to be low self-worth, fear, sabotage, that kind of thing. High self-worth means that we are truly able to let wealth of the universe in. And unfortunately, vast majority are not. They're not receptive because they block it. Receptivity is an energetic. It's an energetic code, really. And self-worth, high self-worth, is the match, to receiving like these, these visions and these creative inventions and all of this wealth of the universe. It could be a relationship, it could be opportunity, whatever it is. It could be a job or whatever it does. It's not some, people think big, big. It can also be small things that just come our way that really enrich our lives and make us feel very rich and make us feel very beautiful. For us to really get to, to be able to have, hold that, is we have to have high self-worth. We have to have high self-worth. And the universe will do anything and everything to get us there, regardless of how fussy we are. So you check into your life and see in what area you're getting fussy. A little fussy just simply means that you're wanting to be moved in a certain way that you are denying yourself. There's beauty that you want to transform into. You want to become the next level of beauty. But you're denying it because your self-worth is the key element to everybody's denial of next level of beauty. So what that just simply represents is you need to ask yourself, how can I in this moment care for myself in such a way where no longer am I going to allow whatever it is that blocks me from standing tall, shoulders rolled back, chest wide, and shining as who I am in all of my forgiveness, all of the experience and acceptance of myself. I think that is what we're wanting from life, not, all this stuff, we want to become the mere image of our most beautiful self. And I'm talking about mind, body, and spirit, not just body. And it's very easy to just fake your beauty and cheap. It's easy to cheat, be cheap and cheat your way to beauty, but that never holds. This is an energy beauty. And I've seen it in people that have this energy beauty. And you could see it in them that they're really in tune with the universe. You're really in tune, one with themselves, with everything. And it gives them a level of respect, and it gives them a level of strength to cut through. We have to cut through life, or we're always going to be taken down by life. We have to be able to know how to cut through life and all the nonsense and the weird crappy stuff. We have to know how to cut through, or we're always going to be feeling down and feeling let down and feeling broken down. And beauty is our way to cut through, to break through, to get to the other side, where we're not attached and upset and all this. We're very willing and able to hold ourselves tall, shoulders rolled back, keep the chest wide, and shine. So this is the discussion for today. Thank you.